In 2001, the world will be introduced to the magical cinematic masterpiece known as Shrek. And like many other cinematic masterpieces before it, we would get a plethora of merchandise like toys, books, plushies, and in the case of this video, video games. And it's no secret at this point that movie tie-in games are notorious for being either really good or really bad. There is no in between. Sometimes. But in the case of Shrek, they are all perfect. And today, we're going to cover and master the most majestic game of them all, the Shrek game to Shrek them all, Shrek Treasure Hunt for the PlayStation 1, which features a total of 34 achievements thanks to the RetroAchievements website, which allows you to get achievements from your favorite Shrek games from the NES to the Wii with everything in between. And as usual, we will be getting these achievements in hardcore mode, which is the only way to master these games. Now you may look at this game and think that it's just another 3D collectathon, but make no mistake, this game will give you an unforgettable experience that you'll wish you could forget about and play it all over again. So with that in mind, let's go on a treasure hunt in the name of Shrek. So the story of this game is that Shrek wants to surprise Princess Fiona with a picnic party, but all items are missing. So he goes on a scavenger hunt in order to give Fiona the perfect picnic party. What? You expected a more elaborated story? Now yes, the plot is very simplistic, but as great philosophers once said, not every adventure needs a complicated story. Even the simplest of stories can create true masterpieces. So after that perfect plot summary, we start the game and... oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we have achieved peak gaming. So this game is divided into 10 different areas where in each one you must collect a certain number of collectibles so that you can unlock a mini game you must beat in order to get an item for the picnic party. So starting off with the Swamp Center, we have to collect 10 cheese wedges in order to unlock our first mini game. I should also point out that we are playing this game on what is known as hard mode, which is mandatory if you want to master this game, otherwise we have to do a second playthrough. And compared to the easy mode, there really isn't that much of a difference with the exception of two changes. The first one is that minigames are more difficult or have a stricter time limit to complete, and the second change, which I literally learned about with this mastery, is that bumping into enemies will have Shrek drop an item, which means that you must go back and collect it again. However, this change goes away once you unlock the minigame. Thankfully though, we have the shield ability which will protect us from these fat pigs, and we can get the last of the cheese and unlock our first minigame, which will give us a screenshot showcasing its location, but also give us an achievement. And so we have our first minigame, Catch the Blind Mice. And for this one, we have a little game of Simon Says, as we need to press the face buttons in the correct order so that we can guide the mice to the other side of the screen and capture them. Repeat the process 3 times and you'll be done and collect the Firefly Lantern. And if you manage to beat this minigame without missing an input, you'll get the first of many challenge achievements. So once we finish the minigame, we head to our next area of the swamp, which can be done by locating these signs that tell you the area you'll go to. You can also press the select button in order to see a full map so that you can see what areas you're missing. And for our next area, we go to the outhouse, which is the most iconic area in the game, since this area contains the popular outhouse that introduces us to the wonders of this big green ogre. In this area, we have to collect 16 onions, which, as you know, just like ogres, have layers. And by collecting all onions, we will unlock our next minigame, Catch Some Weed Rats. And for this one, we need to literally sit on 6 weed rats, and we have 1 minute to do so. But for maximum efficiency, we must beat this minigame before the timer reaches 40 seconds, meaning we only have 20 to beat this minigame. Thankfully, the rats don't go all over the place like other critters like the chickens from Sly 1, and with enough patience, you'll get this one with no problem, as well as the jar with eyes. Frog eyes? Human eyes? I don't know, you be the judge. Our next location is the Knights area, and here we must collect 16... Knights? I mean, it's not called the Knights area for nothing, so I guess it makes sense. And here we get our introduction to another collectible that we may find during our quest, and those are these key items which allow you to unlock the final minigame of the game. However, in order to get these keys, we must first beat the minigame of the area so that the key may be accessible. So for now, let's gather the lost soldiers and play our next game, Splat the Knight, where we must throw tomatoes with extreme force, I mean goddamn, at 10 different knights. And as for our extra challenge, we must beat the minigame minigame before the timer reaches 8 seconds and without pausing the game. This one is very easy, and as long as you don't stall, you'll get this one very quickly and easily, and collect the blanket for your picnic with Fiona. Now I did say that by beating the minigame we'll get access to the key, but when I went to claim it, it was still blocked by these Farquaad banners. And that's because for some strange reason, this key in particular must be the final key you must get in order to unlock the final minigame of the game. Which, looking back, it kinda makes sense, since getting rid of the Farquaad banners after ridding our swamp of annoying pests eventually may lead to the fall of his kingdom and the rise of the Ogre Empire. Up next we have the waterfall, and in this place we can collect the majority of the keys in order to work our way to get the grand 30 we need in order to unlock the final minigame of the game. And by combing this lake, we can get the max being 24. And since we already know the location of the final one, this means that we need to explore 5 other areas of the swamp in order to collect the remaining 5 keys. So once we get the keys, we move on to the ancient overflow, where this time we must collect 10 fish bones in order to unlock the best minigame in the entire series, swamp fishing. This is the best minigame ever, since unlike the obnoxious fishing games from lower tier games like Ocarina of Time, Sonic Adventure, or even Okami, this fishing game is perfect. You only need to cast your line onto the ripples in the water and then press X or square to reel in and get your fish. Now there will be times you'll get junk instead of a fish, but no matter the result, as long as you catch 9 fish without reeling in nothing, you'll beat this very easy and perfect mini. But after rewatching a couple of times, it is that you'll beat this very easy and perfect. Dude! You'll beat this very easy. Oh my god, why are these lobsters so annoying? You'll beat this very easy and perfect minigame by tilting the camera, which, thank god I learned. Give me junk. Give me junk. Give me junk. You gotta be fucking kidding me. You gotta be fucking kidding me. When... On the last one again, what the actual hell is this? You'll beat this very easy and perfect minigame. And once we collect our fish and the bottle of honey, we unlock key number 25. And then we move on to the old mineshaft and gather all 16 dwarves. Should have been 7, but I digress. Where we also get the most ingenious and perfect platforming section in the whole game. And here we unlock probably the dumbest minigame, but with possibly the most ingenious challenge achievement, Tug of War, where we must remove the dead broad off the table by pressing the correct buttons when it reaches the reticle. But as for the challenge achievement, which usually you want to beat this one as fast as possible, here we must win the game when the timer is at the last 10 seconds, meaning that you must have an equal ground with the dwarves by alternating between button presses, and then when the timer approaches 10 seconds, lock in and win the game. And you'll be able to get this one relatively easy and get the glasses of ale. Our next area is the abandoned tower, where we must ignore all sense of logic and collect fire in order to unlock the first of 3 platforming stages. And these may sound scary since these are regarded as the hardest minigames of them all. And it also doesn't help that all 3 of them have a damageless challenge achievement. If you take your time, these ones are not really that bad. Our first one is Cross the Bridge, where we must train in the ways of Crash Bandicoot, as we have these bridges that have surprise fireballs as well as certain planks falling down thanks to our weight. But as long as you time yourself with the fire and planks, look at this beautiful frame rate. Oh my god. And oh wow, look at that. See? Did you saw that? You can leapfrog your way through the bridge so that scary jumps become more precise. Oh no! Oh! And you'll make it no problem and conquer this bridge and collect the utensils for your picnic party. After beating our first platforming challenge, we backtrack to this bridge that now gives us access to key number 26. And then we head over to the wooded area. In this area of wood, we have to collect 20 horseshoes in what is probably the largest area of the game. And here we unlock the second platforming minigame. Yeah, right off the bat. Swing on chains. Even though the chains in question are, for the most part, optional. And in this minigame, we must go around a tower and collect the plates. And this one is probably not only the hardest platforming minigame, but I would honestly consider it the hardest minigame of them all. Especially on hard, since the time you have to beat this game is very strict, to the point that depending where you screw up, you may not be able to beat this one, unless you get incredibly lucky with your jumps. Oh, wow. Not that it matters, since just like the previous one, we have a damageless challenge. Oh, wow. Okay. Sure, cool. And as long as you time yourself with the platforms... greedy. I got greedy. And avoid the incoming fireballs. You'll get this one in a jiffy and collect the plates for your party with Fiona. After collecting the plates, we go into this grove and do some basic platforming for key number 27. And then we go behind the hut where the minigame is and access the old hollow. And in this area, we have the one and only missable achievement of the set, where we must put our platforming skills to the ultimate test. In this level, we must collect 20 pumpkins, and some of them are in high ledges where Shrek simply can't reach. But to help with this, we can collect a spring power-up that will give Shrek a super jump for 10 seconds. However, you must find a way to get all pumpkins without getting a spring power. There's only one instance where you need the spring, which can be easily skipped with the power of wall bouncing, but there is another instance with these pillars, but as long as you hop on this tiny ledge, you can get on top of the pillar and continue onwards. Or you can also enter this area from the other side of this lake. But then we have this section where we must use the power of wall bounces to our advantage, and put the might of Super Mario to shame. And once we collect the last pumpkin and get the achievements, we also collect the spring power-up since it will give us another achievement. The minigame for this one is Catch the Worms, where we must align our reticle and catch 10 worms in order to get the gramophone and play some classic tunes. And just like the Weed Rat minigame, we must get all worms before the timer reaches 40 seconds. This one can be hard, but as long as you intercept the worms or spawn camp them as they come out of the ground, you'll get this one done in no time. So once we finish, we collect key number 28 after crossing this gate and head into the final new area of the swamp, the fields. And here we must collect 16 candy canes and unlock the last minigame before the end, Cotton Candy, where you must align a reticle with these flies until it turns red and press the button in order to attach them to your spider web flavored cotton candy. You have 30 seconds and you must get all flies before the timer reaches 10 seconds. But as long as you stay still, the flies will mostly fly into the reticle, giving you an easy win, giving you the basket and another challenge achievement beaten. So now we must get the last two keys. One of them being back at the outhouse as we see some tree stumps literally appear out of nowhere, giving us access to key number 29. And then we return to the Knights area and collect key number 30 to not only unlock the final minigame of the game, but also get the achievement of collecting all overworld pickups on hard mode. And with that, we head to the waterfall and begin our final quest, collect the armor. And this is the third and final platforming minigame, where you must collect all 7 pieces of armor located in the dragon's lair, and then collect the salt and pepper in order to finish your treasure hunt and prepare your picnic party with Fiona. Also, I hope you like the dragon cameo, because that's the only time you're gonna see her. So, this is the only place you're gonna see her. And oh my god. Compared to the other two, this one can be hard, but the reason it's hard is mainly because this is the longest minigame of the game. Where you must travel throughout the castle while avoiding debris, fire, and knights that want to cut you like bread. But as long as you take your time and study the patterns, you'll get this one done and master this hidden PS1 gem. Woo! Nice! In terms of quality, I'll give this set an 8 out of 10. And because we not only have challenge achievements for every minigame, but also a missable achievement for the overworld, it comes to show that this wasn't an instance of just getting 100% on hard mode in order to master the game. And I'm honestly grateful, because even though I do like Stuart Little 2, the RetroAchievements set is very basic, if you remember my review of that set. As for difficulty, I will go for a 7 out of 10. And this rating is mainly due to the fishing and platforming challenges. Even though the bridge and armor didn't take a lot of tries, you still had to deal with the awkward controls, input lag, and occasional slowdown, especially during the bridge level. And as for the fishing minigame, you just had to get lucky that the fish doesn't let go, which can lead to frustration similar to the crane game from Kirby's Adventure. And as for fun, most of the minigames are honestly fun, but the overworld exploration generation is really dull, especially with the awkward controls, terrible camera, and the game running at 2 frames per second. It feels like a splash of cold water when you get to the minigames and start having fun, so because of that, I'll give this set a 7 out of 10 in terms of fun. And as for the hardest achievement, because of the tight platforming and occasional input delay causing you to fall into the fiery abyss, I'll give One of a Kind, which is beating Swing on Chains without getting hit, the award for being the hardest achievement of this set. Alright, I know what day it is, and I should be keeping up with the bit, but I'm gonna be real for this ending section because this game is not good. The overworld is just bland, the controls are terrible, the camera is useless, especially since you cannot control it, the platforming can be incredibly annoying, especially during the overworld with Shrek's very awkward momentum, and the game overall runs like shit. At the very least, some minigames do redeem the quality of this game, but not all of them are stellar, like the bridge and its questionable clipping and the RNG game that is the fishing game. But at the end of the day, this game is just a Shrek game, which makes it one of the video games of all time. I am mostly gonna get crucified for that statement, but I don't care. Big thanks to Rushmush for making this set, and because I decided to be funny, not really, and decided to dive into the world of Shrek games, it is only a matter of time before people start asking me to do other critically acclaimed Shrek games like Shrek's Super Party or Shrek's Super Slam. Oh my god, what have I done? Thanks for watching this shit show, but also this April Fool's RetroAchievements Mastery video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more RetroAchievement Masteries, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified on future Masteries. For our next game, we celebrate our 25th Retro Achievement Mastery by tackling our very first ROM hack, which coincidentally will be the very first one I've ever played and mastered, and that ROM hack is Super Mario 64 Last Impact by Case Emanuar. And for this special occasion, I will be streaming it here on YouTube, although there's a big chance that I already mastered the game by the time this video is out, or I'm almost done with it. But either way, I will stream it even if my internet dies in the middle of it, because, you know, there's nothing more annoying than finally getting a hard achievement only for your internet to die, meaning that you actually have to do the entire thing again. And yes, I know you can submit a ticket, but I don't think loss of internet is an excuse to actually unlock an achievement via a ticket. And once we master Last Impact, I'll master the game that was supposed to come after Star Fox, which will be Lilo and Stitch Trouble in Paradise for the PlayStation 1. And then after that, I think it's actually time to do a belated celebration of the Nintendo Wii coming to RetroAchievements by doing a game. I still don't know what game I'm gonna do. I'll figure it out when we get to it. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you all for watching. I'm Jonathan Wolf, and I will see you all in my next Retro Achievement Mastery. Later, Retro Achievers, and take it easy.